Good morning. Agriculture, Part 2. Food crops other than grains. Sugarcane. Sugarcane is grown in tropical as well as subtropical regions. It requires hot and humid climate. Temperature 21 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius and rainfall 75 to 100 centimeter. Irrigation is required in water scarce regions. Grown in different soils, needs manual labor. India is the second largest producer of sugarcane after Brazil. It is a source of sugar, jaggery, cantasari, and molasses. States UP, MH, Karnataka, TN, Andhra, Bihar, Punjab, and Haryana. Oil seeds. India is the second largest producer of groundnut after China. Third largest producer of rapeseed after Canada and China. Oil seeds cover an area of 12% of the total cropped area. Seeds: groundnut, mustard, coconut, sesame, soybean, castor seeds, cottonseed, linseed, sunflower. Edible and used for cooking, and sometimes used as raw materials for soap, cosmetics, and ointment industries. Groundnut is a kharif crop. The largest producer of groundnut in India is Gujarat, followed by Andhra Pradesh and TN. Linseed and mustard are rabi crops. Sesame, kharif crop in north and rabi in south. Castor as rabi and kharif. Tea. Tea is a plantation crop. It's a beverage introduced by the British. It is grown in tropical and subtropical climatic conditions. It requires deep and fertile soil with a humus and organic presence, warm and moist conditions. Needs frequent showers, labor intensive, and at the same time, abundant, cheap, and skilled labor is required. Areas: Assam, Darjeeling, Jaipalpuri, West Bengal, TN, and Kerala. Uttarakhand, HP, Meghalaya, Andhra, Tripura are other producing states of India. India is the second largest producer of tea after China. Coffee. India produces about 3.5% of the world's total. India is known for the production of good quality. A variety, that is Arabica from Yemen, is widely produced in India. Initially, it was introduced in Baba Budan Hills and later changed to Nilgiris and Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. Horticultural crops. India is the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables after China. India produces tropical and temperate fruits. Mangoes in MH, Andhra, UP, and West Bengal. Oranges in Nagpur and Cherrapunji. Bananas in Kerala, Mizoram, MH, and TN. Lychee and guava in UP and Bihar. Pineapples in Meghalaya. Grapes, Andhra and MH. Apples, pears, apricots, and walnuts, J&K and HP. India produces 13% of the total world's vegetables, mainly pea, cauliflower, onion, cabbage, tomato, brinjal, and potato. Non-food crops. Rubber. Rubber is an equatorial crop, grown in both tropical and subtropical regions. Requires moist and humid climate. Rainfall more than 200 centimeter. Temperature about 25 degrees Celsius. Rubber is used as its latex is used as a raw material. Producing states: Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Meghalaya. India is the fourth largest producer of rubber. Fiber crops produced in India, namely cotton, jute, hemp, and natural silk. Cotton. India is the original home of cotton. It is used in textile industry as raw material. India is the second largest producer after China. Deccan is known for its black soil and cotton production. It requires high temperature, light rainfall, frost-free days, bright sunshine. It's a hardy crop. It takes 6 to 8 months to mature. Areas: MH, Gujarat; MP, Karnataka; AP, TN, Punjab, Haryana, and UP. Jute. Jute is known as golden fiber. It's grown in well-drained fertile soil, requires high temperature, used for making gunny bags, mats, ropes, yarn, carpets, and other artifacts. Grown in West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Odisha, and Meghalaya. It is very costly right now, and it loses its importance to synthetic fibers, especially nylon. Next topic is technological and institutional reforms. Sustainable use of land without modern technological aspects reduces the pace of agricultural development. Farmers totally depend on monsoon and natural fertility. India's population about 60% dependency on agriculture is a great challenge. So it is required to have technical and institutional changes, institutional reforms like collectivization, consolidation, cooperation, abolition of zamindari. Land reform was the priority of the very first 5-year plan. Fragmentation of land resulted by law of inheritance changed the practices. The programs initiated by the government lack implementation proceedings. But in 1960s and 70s, India introduced green revolution, usage of modern tech aspects, and a white revolution, Operation Flood. But these governmental initiatives are limited to few areas. 80s and 90s, comprehensive land development programs been introduced. Institutional and technical reforms, especially crop insurance against drought, flood, cyclone, fire, and disease. Introduced Grameen banks, cooperative societies, and other banks, especially for providing loans at lower rate to farmers. Introduced Kisan Credit Card, personal accident insurance scheme, weather bulletins, and agricultural programs through televisions and radios. Minimum support price, remunerative and procurement prices. Contribution of agriculture to the national economy. Agriculture is the backbone of our economy. Contribution of agriculture to the gross domestic product in decline since 1961. 2011, 52% of India's workforce depends on agriculture for sustenance. Stagnation due to decline in other spheres has got social implications. Government takes initiatives to modernize agriculture. Introduced Indian Council of Agricultural Research, agricultural universities, veterinary services, animal breeding centers, horticulture development, research and development in meteorology and weather forecast, infrastructure development. India's GDP got increased, but employment generation is not up to the mark. Agriculture got declined. India faces competition from other countries. Public investment is reduced in irrigation, power, rural roads, market, and mechanization. It is necessary to have subsidized provisions in certain areas. Other factors like reduction in import duties, especially on agricultural products, and withdrawal from agriculture sector are the two drawbacks faced by Indian agriculture. Next topic is food security. Food is the basic need. It is required nutritional food accessibility to everyone. It is a suffering segment, especially economically less developed states or regions. Remote areas are more prone to the suffering. National food security system has got two components. Number one, buffer stock, and number two, public distribution system, PDS. PDS with the purpose of subsidized sale of grains. Objectives: accessibility, availability, and affordability. The main focus here is growth of agricultural production. Food Corporation of India procuring and stocking food grains. Minimum support price announced by government. Government announces time to time subsidies on fertilizers, power, and water. But negative aspects: subsidies at an unsustainable level and inefficiencies in the use of scarce inputs. Some of the negative aspects resulted by over-agricultural production, waterlogging, salinity, land degradation. Imbalance in intercrop parodies, another problem, especially overproduction of rice and wheat in Haryana and Punjab. Consumers are broadly categorized into above poverty line and below poverty line. Issue prices are different for both. But the members, those who are eligible, being excluded from the BP list, and inclusion of some non-eligible in APL, above poverty line, it is one of the negative aspects. Self-sufficiency, district and block wise, is the intention of the government right now. Provisions being introduced for infrastructure, credit linkage, use of lightest techniques, growing different crops, and inviting more investment, private investment in irrigation and electricity. Focus is now increasing food grain production on a sustainable basis. Free trade in grains create massive employment and reduce poverty. But a shift is visible from food crop to foods, vegetables, oil seeds, and industrial crops. Net sown area got reduced under cereals and pulses. Population increase, so there is a high demand for food grains. But food production got decreased. General problems related with housing, land degradation, scarcity of water, salinity, waterlogging, inefficient water management, salinization, waterlogging, and land degradation, introduction of water-intensive crops, especially in areas of Punjab, MH, and Haryana. The storage of aquifers got reduced. Small farmers are out of cultivation. Farmers face water crisis, inadequate storage facilities, lack of marketing, a high price payment for H5 seeds fertilizers, lack of bargaining power, higher supply and lower demand, distressed sale, no food security. Next topic is impact of globalization on agriculture. Three terms to be remembered here: industrialization, colonization, and globalization. Industrialization is the wide-scale development of industries. Colonization is a process of colonialism. Colonialism is partial or full political control over another country by a colonial power. Globalization is a modern economic phenomenon. It's a kind of global interconnectedness. Economies are open for foreign direct investment. Tariff reduction is one of the main features of globalization, privatization and liberalization of economies. European traders, especially the colonial powers, Portuguese, Dutch, French, and British, came to Southeast Asia or India for spice trade. It continued and later changed to export of raw materials for British textile industries, especially cotton textile industries in Manchester and Liverpool. one of the movements of Indian peasants against the British or against the commercialization of Indian agriculture. Champaran movement in Bihar in 1917 forced indigo cultivation. It was against forced indigo cultivation, and there the farmers faced a kind of subsistence crisis. In 1990s, the introduction of globalization or global economy put forward a new challenge. Indian farmers unable to just compete with the world market, because most of the Western developed countries are giving high subsidies to farmers. In being a major producer of rice, cotton, rubber, tea, coffee, jute, and spices, India faces difficulties in the international market. Crossroads here, conditions of marginal and small farmers. Green revolution promises under threat. Degradation, drying aquifers, vanishing biodiversity. One of the most important aspects of modern agricultural development is genetic engineering. Genetic engineering, inventing a new hybrid varieties, gene revolution. But a positive tendency in Indian agriculture is the introduction of organic farming. Economics predicts that a black future for Indian farmers, especially due to population rise. In rural India, 600 million depends on 250 million hectares of land, less than half a hectare per person. Solution is diversification of cropping pattern from cereals to high-value crops. Degradation reduced by cropping fruits, medicinal herbs, flowers, vegetables. Biodiesel crops like jethropa or jojoba need less irrigation. Diverse climatic conditions in India promote diverse crops. So government and the people of India are responsible to take new initiatives to protect the agrarian sector of India. Thank you.